Register now for Conquer Atlanta.
And you'll attend 2 exclusive business meetings with TD Jakes at the Georgia International Convention Center. Call 1-800-89-KINGDOM. Seating and registration is limited, so call now. 1-800-89-KINGDOM. Attend the Conquer Atlanta Business Conference. That's 1-800-89-KINGDOM. Or log on to ConquerAtlanta.com. That's CONQUER Atlanta.com.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Yolanda, your host of Pemg Radio. We are back, and I have on the phone with me right now a young lady who has devoted her life to being something great, being phenomenal. Yes, I do. Hey, today we have with us Jovan L. Walker. Hold on for a second. Let me bring her in. Jovan, are you there? Okay, now I have you. Are you there, Jovan?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, Jovan, this is Yolanda here with PMG Radio. Thank you so much for coming to the show today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Yolanda.
We're talking to Jovan Walker, guys. She is a life, health, and prosperity coach. She is also a mother, a spiritual woman with a passion for people. Jovan, tell us why you decided to be this entrepreneur, this mother, this spiritual woman, and well, along with that, you say you have a passion for people.
Oh, man. I tell you, there comes a time in everybody's life that you just kind of, sometimes it's self-realized, and then sometimes people will sow into your life to help you to kind of define just who you are, help you to define your purpose in life. And I had the blessing to have experienced that at an early age, early in. I was able to, my path was led to different people to just kind of help shape and kind of mold me into, into purpose and destiny. And I kind of realized that early in, and I started taking some different courses and things like that, and being around some really successful people who kind of, really shed a light for me on what I was good at and my gifts and my talents, and kind of brought them out, so to speak, to a point where I said, okay, with the help of the Spirit, divine guidance, I said, okay, this is what I love to do. This is what I'm good at. I love helping people. That's where my strengths are. I do those things naturally, especially when it comes to the financial arena. I believe that I was kind of born with a financial mind, and I didn't really go through a whole lot of traditional formal training of financial education and things like that. My mother, at an early age, I remember my mother was a functional drug addict. And I remember at an early age, some kind of way, your family would give you allowances, or just you would do things and you would generate money. And I would always save that money, Yolanda. And I remember my mother would come to me and she would, ask me to borrow money. But when she would ask to borrow money, she would listen. My mother, she was a nurse. She's been a nurse, and she's still a nurse to this day.
Wow.
She is recovered from drugs. Okay. But I remember her when she would come to me and she would say, Jovan, let me borrow $10, but I will give you back 15 or 20, whatever it was at the time. And as a child, that made a lot of sense to me. Okay. And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it.
You're going to make some more money.
You're keeping me earthly, right at that early age. And so I remember, there having that financial mindset of, being a borrower at an early age. And it just kind of stuck with me through the rest of my life and, to my adulthood. So I guess to answer your question, the path, God's path, just kind of led me to the right people at the right time in my life before I was able to get complacent with the demands of society and what society typically dictates, us to do and things like that. And I just jumped in, and I've been going ever since.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And congratulations. I want everyone to know that Jovan also after high school joined the U.S. Army. Is that correct, Jovan?
Yep.
With the military intelligence
right.
corps.
That's right.
So she is a veteran.
There as well, I remember that. That was one of those situations where you take the, I think what's called the ASVAB test. It's been so long since I've been involved with that. But I took the ASVAB test, and I remember the sergeant of the whole recruiting station. She came to, you know, how they come to your house or whatever. And she said something to me. She said, you know what? I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to get you in military intelligence.
Wow.
And at that time, I was like, okay, what is that? And the best way she could explain it to me, she's like, well, you'll be able to come out and work for the FBI and do all that top secret stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds good, you know.
Right.
And so yeah, I went in and joined the MI Corps, and I did that for several years. I actually happened to be in during 9/11, so my term was extended. But just for a short time, and then they released me, and I said, you know what, I believe God, He's going to lift this thing. I'm getting out of here, because it was really good, but it just wasn't for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Jovan, you know, this month and next month into the 2013, the year 2013, I am dedicating this show, this radio show, right now, at the end of this year, about phenomenal women. And women who should be phenomenal. I shouldn't say should be phenomenal, but what it takes for a woman to make herself a phenomenal human being. And we're not just focusing primarily on women. Men, too. They have to be phenomenal, too. But I feel, and this is based only on my interpretation, that we've lost that kick of urgency or that kick of incentive to be phenomenal. I think the economy and us being mothers, single mothers, wives, entrepreneurs have generated so much independence that we're tired, and we stop focus on who we should be, not only outside the home, but inside the home. Tell me.
You have a call from your Freedom Voice.
Uh-oh. I lost you, Jovan. Call me back. We'll be right back, guys. I've lost Jovan. Jovan, are you there? Wow, I lost Jovan. I'm sorry, Jovan, I lost you. Hold on for a second. Okay, you're back. Okay. And what we're going to start again. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
The last I heard you were saying, you sound like you were coming up on a really good question. You said about inside and outside the home.
Right.
That was the last part I heard.
It's about balance. It's actually about balance. And with that balance, being phenomenal as a person, as an individual. Let's take woman out of it, really. But as a person, tell me your journey to making yourself, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, a phenomenal woman. Because I know that you balance the two. You have to. What is it that you do on a daily basis to make sure that it's not overwhelming?
Yeah, that's I tell you, that is a really near and dear subject. When you start talking about balance, I normally tend to refer to it as harmony, because I've been through a season in my entrepreneurial journey where I was not that phenomenal. I was not harmonized and balanced in life. In fact, my marriage, I lost my marriage because of it. And, of course, sometimes you have to, oftentimes you have to go through these type of experiences for you to really learn to get to that place of where you're supposed to be. And And so I take it very, very serious. You know, I have a no tolerance or no nonsense approach when it comes to family and just balancing, not balancing, because I don't like to use balance because, and here's why.
Okay.
Because if my daughter, Lord forbid, became suddenly ill, okay, everything else is going to come to a halt in my life.
Absolutely. Meaning
my work, meaning my relationships, my emotional state, you know, even to some degree, my spirituality, a lot of that is going to come, it's not going to get its chance there because my attention at that time is going to be dedicated to my daughter. So for me, when I think of that, I don't really think it's realistic to say balance because depending on what takes priority at the time in your life, that's going to get the most of your attention. However, I believe in having harmony, you know, having all 5 areas, you know, of your life in harmony, meaning, you know, your spirituality, your emotional, your relationship, your finances, and your physical. Those areas, you know, need to always be harmonized. So to really answer that question, what I do now is, you know, for one, my priorities are set and they're non-negotiable. God first, family, and then everything else is after that. That's my mantra. That's my formula for life. And so everything I do, I try to include God. I try to start out my day with spiritual devotion, and try to end my day there, so that I make sure that I give that time give it sufficient time on a daily basis, because we are spiritual beings living an earthly experience. So, you know, you must include that spiritual side in your life, whatever it is that, you know, you deem to be that higher power. And then secondly, when I went through my whole time of divorce and going through pregnancy by myself and all of those things, you know who was there for me?
Who?
It was my family.
Right.
It was the friends that I grew up with, my childhood friends, my high school friends, and my family. They were there, and they were there to, you know, be prepared to come stay with me. I remember being pregnant during one of the worst storms of 2 years ago when we had those, you know, everybody was shut down. I was pregnant during that time.
Right.
And, you know, I had one of my best friends, Toy Barnhart, who was an associate publisher, she was planning to move her family in with me to make sure that, you know, I had help at that time in my life. And so for me, that was like a big wake-up call. But you know what, that time in my life, or prior to that time, most of my time was not spent with my family and friends. During that time, most of my time was being spent with my business partners.
Okay.
And organizational things and stuff like that, business that I was doing. And so to me, that was like a wake-up call for me, like, wait a minute, these are the people who will have your back at your lowest point in life. This is who you need to spend more of your time with, not the business people. So for me, family is second after spiritual, and then everything else is last. So that's kind of how, you know, I live my life. And one of the things that I would encourage, especially any other phenomenal woman, entrepreneur, professional female, is you have to have a cutoff time. So I learned this from my mentor. She taught me that you need to have a time where your day is in it. You work between this hour and this hour. So for me, my business hours pretty much start from about 11 to 6. After that, I am done. After 6 o'clock, it's Jada's time.
Right,
it's Jada's time. It's mommy's time. That's it. Now, of course, again, you know, there are some exceptions, and you work around certain things that has to be done, and you accommodate, and you alleviate different times to, you know, substitute things like that. But that's how I do it. And once I started to do that, I realized people started to respect my time. They started to respect my life, and things became less overwhelming for me. And so having